All right. Hey, Gene.
Steve, so delighted to be here.
We are here to share a video that Gene and I did together for it's really, I think it's the world's first pair programming chop video, chat oriented. And so Gene's going to tell you a little bit about it, and then we'll jump into the video.
Steve, you and I met about 2 months ago, and we had this amazing conversation about the death of the junior developer. And that was such a mind blowing experience. You gave this amazing talk at the Enterprise Technology Leadership Summit. And my friend John Willis said, watching your talk felt like being at the Velocity Conference in 2009 when John Allspaw and Paul Hammond gave the talk about how they were doing 10 deploys a day, every day, Flickr. People were throwing up in the aisles, and people were passing out because it seemed so irresponsible, preposterous, and maybe even immoral notion that you shouldn't be coding by hand anymore. It should be through chat programming. And just to set the context for this, we're talking about, was there a programming task that I wanted to do that would be normally out of reach? And since January, I've been working on this. I have all these screenshots on my phone. So whenever I'm watching a YouTube video or listen to a podcast, and when I hear something interesting, I take a screenshot. So I have thousands of these, like 5,000 of them over the last decade. But how many times have I actually gone back and watched it? It's like only a handful. And I wrote this thing where I throw them into an LLM and I ask for the podcast name, the episode name, and extract the current playtime. And we were talking, I'm like, gosh, wouldn't it be great if we could write something where we would throw it at FFmpeg and it would extract out the desired time. And the goal was, can we do it in 2 hours? And we went for it. Steve, how am I doing in terms of characterizing what the goal was?
So to summarize, we're going to take the program that you've already written that can show the transcripts from the videos that you've taken screenshots of.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to extend that program to generate an FFmpeg call that extracts out an excerpt from each video and puts captions in.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. All right. With that in mind, let's get to it.
So desired outcomes is generate a video clip excerpt from a YouTube video and add the captions to the video with the inputs of a highlight, which is basically has a beginning time, an end time, a YouTube video, and a transcript.
So to paraphrase, it sounds like what we're doing is we're building a tool that we can run, perhaps it's command line or perhaps it's web-based, but it can take a video. It can find something exciting, maybe an excerpt from the video.
Yeah.
Right? Or we're going to have it look at the whole audio, right?
We can even make it more concrete. Erik Meijer talked, the famous father of Link, Visual Basic. And so he gave a great talk on LLMs and coding. Here is a YouTube talk. And the guy presenting him looks almost the same. So the inputs were a whole bunch of screenshots I took. And here are the highlights. And so for each one of these highlights, I would love to extract this portion of the video from the YouTube video and then overlay captions.
Where'd the highlight come from? You did this manually?
Yeah, I did it on my phone. I took a screenshot. And so each one of these got sent to ChatGPT 4.0 to extract what is the name of the podcast, the episode, and the playback time. And I think, just so you know, I had ChatGPT using CHOP, chat-oriented programming. I think the prompt was, I'm going to give you a bitmap image, march down the left until you see a red line, and then march to the right until you see a non-red pixel, and then compute the percentage complete.
Nice. Nice. Okay.
I hadn't written any sort of code like that in 30 years. So it was like an effing amazing that it gave me the closure code to do that. It was like one of the big aha moments. That was in January. Anyway, so then once that is computed, that's overlaid onto the transcript, and each one of these kind of highlights gets projected onto the transcript.
Gotcha. So we're going to extract the highlighted bits to make subtitles, basically?
I think so. I think it's going to be download the YouTube video, which I did manually, and then extract a segment from the video using FFmpeg.
Yep.
I think it's extract the transcript and then overlay subtitles. So here's an example of someone who's done this really well. There's a guy named Sarnik. He does a great job going through these AI videos, and he just excerpts the relevant parts with captions. And he puts down a source from YouTube. And I think they're really interesting. And so I did one experiment where I manually put what I thought were interesting parts and I put links to the YouTube video. Obviously, it'd be great to have the video there just to complete my download of the kind of state of tool. I showed you this last time. There's a tool called video.ai that you upload video URLs and it will actually automatically generate what it thinks are the most interesting parts and it can excerpt video clips. And there's another tool called Opus Pro that does something similar.
But we're not using those. We're building that.
We're not going to use these. We're going to build it. Exactly. And then I do the same thing for podcasts. And there's a tool called Audiocado where you upload a podcast and it will generate like a video kind of using something. But yeah, I show that just for completeness.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Your competitors.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Everything's written in Clojure. And I have GitHub Copilot. I got JetBrains AI Assistant. And of course, I have Cody. Everything's enabled. So am I good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go. Actually, you should probably also have a whatever foundation LLM chat window open in your browser of your choice, your preference. I usually have Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT all open.
That's a great call. You know what? I actually love Claude, but I love the ChatGPT app. So let's just use that for now. Just watched a talk from the guy who wrote the cursive Clojure plugin for IntelliJ, and he was actually talking about how good the AST generation inside of IntelliJ is.
It's very good. And it's also very language specific. And so if you have a coding assistant that needs to do language neutral things, find the innermost class-like enclosing block, then you can't use IntelliJ at all. It is completely useless for it. So we had to switch to Tree Sitter and that works great.
Interesting. Oh, here we go. Good. Hello, Cody. All right. Shoo.
All right. Yeah, we're looking at Cody Chat right here. And we're looking at a project that does what so far?
So the back end, just starting up right now. And the front end, that's all this stuff. This has all the database full of the screenshot. It drives the generation of the photo analysis and whatever. And then I hit go to transcript, and then that pulls up a screen like this. So I think what I'd like to do is I forgot to put this in the plan, but I think I need to add a button here that will basically send to the back end. Actually, maybe I'll just hijack this button here. But yeah, right now, if I click this button, it goes through every one of the highlights. Let me just click it. Basically, it sends to Gemini each one of these highlights and it rewrites it to clean up the ums and uhs. It paragraphizes them instead of every line, chunks them up by paragraph.
How long did it take you to write this with Chop, out of curiosity?
Because I've been working on it off and on since January, and I'll say scores of hours.
Okay.
But lots of little pieces.
It's an amazing, turning into a great tool. If you're gonna be able to have lots and lots of these excerpts.
Yeah. At least count 6,000 of them, of which I've done nothing with over 15 years. So the idea of to turn them into potentially hundreds of interesting tidbits I took 34 of these screenshots. You know what? I think let's just hijack the clarify function. Right now in the back end, I now have the transcript over here. And I have this highlight. Okay, so this would be one excerpt. Let's just maybe use this as the input to drive the manipulation of the movie file.
Do you have an idea how you're going to send it to FFmpeg? Are you going to shell out or?
Yeah, let's shell out. Give me a second here. I'm going to create a little. Now I have in a file everything I need to capture the inputs, I think.
So you have the start and end times, and the video is also available on disk somewhere.
Yep.
Which is enough for you to construct the FFmpeg command.
That's right. That's right.
Have you thought about generating all this code with chat rather than typing it out?
That'd be a great idea, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
Actually, let's do that. Okay, so what's the next step? Give me the FFmpeg command to extract which are seconds. Give me the FFM command to extract that portion from a video file named.
Oh,
Perfect.
you just reopen the dialogue. Your stuff's all still there.
Oh, good, good.
Yes. Otherwise, you would have figured out a way to stab me in the face over the Zoom connection.
Okay, how's that?
Okay, wait, hang on. I would be more ambitious, right? If it's just gonna, what do you want it to, right? Yeah, shell out. Exactly. Go ahead and generate the code that, yeah. Perfect. See, that's pretty cool.
Okay, got it. I like Bashka process instead of whatever it used.
Just say instead, make it figure it out.
Okay.
Chops about being a little lazy.
All right. What was the
Control it, enter, or alt
okay.
shift it. Okay. Yeah, and then yeah, make that bigger and then dump it in. Pretty. That's it, proc shell. It was using shell sh.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, I think. Oh, that's really good. And if I need to add the how do I add the require?
That's more of an IDE thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, actually, that was it. Come on. Nice. No.
So this seems
No.
like a pretty sophisticated IntelliJ closure plugin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Max, but which I haven't used in 30 years.
What's it called?
Cursive closure.
Cursive. Nice.
He was the guy who I was telling you is angry more than occasionally about internal breaking changes inside of IntelliJ.
Yeah. In other words, he uses it because everyone who uses it is angry about that. They're really aggressive about breaking things. They're not even.
What happened here? Okay. Double. Who was talking about doubles? Process excerpt. Okay, hang on.
It's smart and the model's good enough you can make it rewrite the whole file. Just select the whole file and be like, now add a function that does blah.
Nice. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. A format specifier. Oh, I see. Okay, how do I
Just dump it in. Yeah, literally. Okay, that's it. What it says.
Oh. Does it actually the problem is that these begin and ends are can I say before this line print out begin and end. Begin is nil. Oh. Typo. Begin is actually start.
Closure is just so pretty.
I agree.
Look, you got a destructuring let there. Doesn't have a whole bunch of extra parentheses. It's lovely.
See, okay, well, this is great. Okay, so the input file is wrong. Oh, of course. Format. Oh, oops, is that right? Okay, I'm gonna. Ooh,
That looked right. Did you file
okay.
that?
Yeah, this is great.
What's
Wait,
on your mind, Gene?
I think I'm really happy. Holy, I'm gonna double click this, and I think it's gonna. I think this is actually a legit MP4 file, right?
Yeah, look like it's 4 megabytes.
It's fuzzy because it's mine too.
Holy 8 page.
All right, so that's good. That's good.
Okay.
It's nice that it knows Clojure and FFmpeg.
It's incredible.
Let's not stop there.
No. In fact, okay. Hey, if I can just pause and say, holy that is awesome.
Honestly, you could be doing even more chatting, right? You can tell it what problem you're trying to solve and then give it a couple of the input files and make it generate some new code or make it rewrite some of the code or whatever. Let's not stop there. You should probably check that.
In fact, okay. Hey, if I can just pause and say, holy that is awesome.
Honestly, you could be doing even more chatting, right? You can tell it what problem you're trying to solve and then give it a couple of the input files and make it generate some new code or make it rewrite some of the code or whatever. Do this as much as you like. But yeah, that's a good start. So let's get them subtitles in there, huh?
Yeah.
Or captions.
Hey, can I just pause? Okay, let's go up to the balcony and look down. I love this experience right here. That's really great. And it feels, yeah, it's flipping awesome.
It's a nice feature. It really is inline edit. It's actually even fancier in VS Code. And we're getting it more and more integrated, right? Okay, so if you think about it, there are really 3 modalities, at play here. We haven't seen completions much, but that's the first major modality, right? And then you got chat and you got inline edits, which is between them. It bridges the two because you're not having a full chat session with history in the inline edit dialog, right? We probably could integrate it better with chat so that it actually became an extension of chat. We probably should. But for right now, what it really is a super souped up, hyped up completion where you're basically saying complete or rewrite this code. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear. So transcript. The transcript lives in summary, not here. It says in the props. So transcripts.
You've collected all this metadata for thousands of clips? Or
thousands of which I've processed hundreds. Yeah. In fact, just to give you so right now, this is like the closest I've come to actually right now the juice isn't worth the squeeze, but with this, Steve, it's going to be amazing. So these are podcasts I've looked at. And then for each one of these, let's go to latent base. And I love the episode that you were on with Swix. That was great.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Yegge. I have the transcript.
Swix gave a great talk at your conference, actually.
He did great. Yeah, it was, I think, perfect for the audience. Yeah. So it's like podcasts, episodes, transcripts, and podcasts can be YouTube videos or podcasts. All right. Where were we? Okay, so transcripts. Okay, here's inside the excerpt.
Wonder whose completions those are.
I think that's Cody because it's in red. Props, podcast, episode, transcripts. First.
Gene, are you typing code manually again?
No, but
we've talked about this.
I'm actually, this is the data structure, so it doesn't know. I'm actually trying to give Cody.
It absolutely could know, though. Couldn't you just copy and paste that whole hump there with all the lines and everything? Just copy it and say, here's an example of the structure. Can you blah, blah, extract whatever or reconstruct whatever?
All right, here we go. All right. You say so. Find me the nested.
This is a chance.
Find me the path, right? It's nested map. Find me the path of the transcript inside this nested map.
I am on the edge of my seat.
Actually, it's a race.
The NVIDIA CPU is starting to smoke.
Come on. How do I get to the top? Alt, page up, Alt, home. Okay. Episode. It's man versus machine.
Okay. Did it spit that out or did you find that?
I found it.
So Cody's still thinking?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to delete this whole part of the video. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Leave it in. So yeah, that's a lesson for us.
Okay, how do I stop? I just stop here. Oh, wait, what?
I'm gonna file a bug report for that one.
Episode transfer. Got it. There we go. All right. Stand by. I'm going to get out of typing mode soon.
By the way, can you just do the same thing in ChatGPT? I want to see if it figures out the answer to the question.
Oh,
It really doesn't have anything to do with Cody. Let's go back and try it again.
yeah. How do I grab the old history?
In the history tab, top one probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually did something like this.
Interesting. So it's just the problem was just this that it's bigger than the context window. We didn't handle that very well, but yeah. That's weird because go to Gemini and try it. It will absolutely let you do it.
Literally, just the other day, I gave it a big HTML file. I'm like, grab all the image, the hrefs.
Humor me, go to Gemini.
Yeah.
And just try dumping it in there.
Yeah.
Because they claim to have a 1 million token window. And that can't have been that many tokens.
122,000 tokens.
See, you found it. Is that
It's
wrong?
Oh, no, it was right. Oh, and then I don't know how to do that. So is there a way in this to actually do a continuation?
You mean just keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah, just start typing.
So
Shift enter, shift enter.
Shift enter. Okay, one second. Find me path inside this map. 5 levels deep. Props, podcast, episodes, transcripts. Yep, check. First. Yep. So transcript. Almost. Yeah, it missed the word.
Episode transcript. No, it didn't. Go back. Episode transcript. It's right so far.
Yeah, actually, it's episode transcript / transcript. It's not a. It's a.
Got it. Got it.
But it's darn close.
That's stupid. Then our jobs are secure. No, still, that's pretty impressive, man. Just from a bunch of garbage HTML you pulled off the screen.
In fact, I actually dumped. I literally did this almost the same thing. I dumped like 120,000 tokens of HTML and grab all the image hrefs. It was amazing. Okay.
So we're doing captions, yeah?
What the transcript looks like. It's a vector of maps. Write a function that, given a start and end, extracts out the relevant entries in the transcript.
Entries.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, look, and it even followed the kind of annotated arguments. Okay, so let's apply and that. I think let's do that. Ooh, close.
I love pair programming where I get to be a backseat driver.
I
Stand
by. Let's get a little bit of faster feedback here. So that's a transcript. Yep. And now we do extract transform entries.
Remember, every time you type, you're weighing a decision, which is how many characters are you expecting to type, and is it more or less than the question you would ask for the LLM? Basically, look, if you're going to type out 5 lines of code, you probably could either get that completed or you could get it inline edited. Right? It's right. There's going to be some tipping point, some threshold where it's clearly going to be less effort for you to make the LLM do it by telling it what you need and maybe editing the result or whatever. So I've noticed you've been erring on the side of typing out quite a lot of this code by hand, and you don't necessarily have to. It's an art.
Yeah, perfect. In fact, what did I just do? I actually wanted to pull in like a TDD thing here so that every time I reload the file in the REPL, I want to get this feedback here, right? If I could,
I would tell the LLM that. I would be like, here's what I want. They're like your therapist, man. Just tell them what you want.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh my gosh. This is where to write test. Test of extract transcript entries.
Only thing I would do differently is I would select the entire file because it's small enough that there can be no doubt that it'll fit and it'll have all the context you need.
Oh
So
my gosh. And it's saved. Oh, that's beautiful. That saved that all the typing.
yeah,
Let me test to extract transcript. All right.
yeah, this is good.
Okay, it's working.
Oh, there it is. Scroll down. There's a test. Do you want to edit it? You want to make changes to it? Because you can scroll up and you can choose retry, edit and retry if you like, and
Oh my.
then it'll let you basically reprompt, or you can accept it and make changes again by reselecting it. I mean,
Oh.
you're like a sculptor here. This is like clay, man. You can just make the LLM change it.
Dude, okay, so if I'm gonna reload the file.
Tell it to see. Here's the thing. Okay, now you got to make a trade-off. All right. If you dump that error message into the inline edit dialog,
Yeah.
then it'll just go ahead and silently try to fix it for you. Here's the thing. Okay, now you got to make a trade-off. All right. If you dump that error message into the inline edit dialog,
Yeah.
then it'll just go ahead and silently try to fix it for you. I would go ahead and try that. But you can also have it go and give an explanation and blah, 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 and tell you what and why it's doing it over on the right. And
Yeah.
it's a great example of where we could unify these interfaces a little better. But it presumably made a change to it that fixed the error. Can you check it? Did it?
I don't know.
Subtle change, if there was one. But that's another reason you can do it over in the chat side. You can say, just take those errors and copy it up into the chat window. Maybe start a new chat because we had one that was overflowing. And then just say nothing. Say nothing. I love dumping errors in without saying anything.
Actually, I just want to see the diff.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's say, please show me the diff.
Oh, get out of here. Oh, look at that. It was a boundary edge condition.
Yeah.
So
Nice. So it was a subtle change.
I love
My
it.
buddy Nikolai implemented that feature.
I love it. Okay. Oh, here's copy. So wait a minute. Oh, look at that. There's 2 tests. Oh no. Okay. Let's do it again.
What do you want to do next? Are you still getting test errors?
Yeah, 2 test failures.
All right, so let's look. It's saying expected count result is 2 and it's getting 3. And why does the LM say it's getting entries before the start time, excluding any entry that starts exactly at the end time? Is that right? Have it print out what entries are returning or something. I don't know. Can we tell what?
Yeah, it's
There it is. Hello world test. All right. So where's the test coming from?
15. Let's see here. So it's at 0 to. So this should be true.
And this is 10 and 5 seconds. So it's right about the kind of root cause.
It's funny, actually, that I think this is incorrect. 12 is include test. I think this is correct.
All right. Or you could also change the timestamp to see if it excludes test. Either way.
Yeah. And by the way,
Okay, now it's failing because no, it worked, right?
this should be 3. Yeah.
So I will. You know what? I'm gonna pause here to say, look, CHOP is like Zeno's paradox, right? Sometimes you can get closer and closer without ever actually getting to the solution. And you have to know when to actually say, all right, I'm going to look at this and see if I can finish it myself, which is what we just did. And there's other options you can do. If you're stuck for tests in particular, I often have to go through 10 to 15 iterations with it saying, no, it still didn't work. It still didn't work. And even giving it hints and saying, I think maybe, right, until it gives the right answer. But at some point, again, you're making that trade-off again between the effort it takes to actually do that versus the effort it would take for you to solve it yourself. And you're always weighing that, right? But it's maybe you use a leaf blower to blow off most of the stuff, and then you use a broom and shovel to get the last little bits, right? That's the same thing with CHOP, is you'll use the LLM for the heavy lifting.
Yeah. And by the way, I have no complaints. I'll be honest, I didn't really understand what this function was doing really until we walked through the test cases. That was a great call.
Yeah.
And obvious. Oh no, it's actually the test case with this wrong and the code is correct. Yeah, that's cool. It was a 2 to 3x. I think we got there faster. No.
So yeah, like it's a learned skill. That's something that I'm starting to realize. And even I have a lot to learn about how to make it work well. And all of the things that we have to learn right now are things that really ought to be built into the tools and the workflows directly to support them. In the meantime, you have to be really good at knowing when to copy and paste things, when to use the inline edit dialog, when to use, it's an art.
In fact, so I use Vim, but I don't want to use Vim. I don't want to keyboard around anymore. I just want to
Yeah.
some zones. And
Yeah. I think we'll get there within a year or two, a couple of years, where it's going to be super directed like that. We're really close now in the sense that we have a lot of the building blocks. We can create files and dump code into them, and we can rename files and move things around and do multi-repo context. It's just stitching that has to happen. So for right now, Chop is doing the stitching by hand, right?
in fact, can we just keep pushing towards the finish
Yeah.
line? I'm stoked.
Do it. We're almost there.
Okay, I'm just going to do a little typing. So I just need to retrieve the excerpt. We know that it's in highlight and start. So it's highlight and start, and then an end. And this, I'm typing. But okay, so what I expect, wait, what? So highlight start is 3402 and highlight end is 3472. So it should be all of the duration should be between, no, this is already wrong. Cody document. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Transcript is a collection of transcript entries. Check where it has begun. Start and duration. Start is,
Yeah.
so given a start and so that works. And then does this work? There we go. All right. So what Dr. Erik Meijer is going to say is, I think if we can get closer to this,
which is fuzzy because it's our mind, to something that kind of most approaches what we had in our mind, I think that's great. And so that doesn't require precision in some sense. I think maybe precision is a little bit of a red herring because it makes us feel that we're doing something cool. But
pretty close. I think is off by 3 seconds, but that's good.
Not a bad start. Not a bad start.
Okay, now we have captions. All right, so what does, let's see here. See, okay, just pause for a moment. Okay, now we have the relevant part of the transcript. Now we just got to convert that into an SRT file. So SRT, adding captions, an SRT or an ASS file.
Okay. So
Right.
it's just a timestamp to another timestamp and then the caption.
Yeah.
And they were numbered, it looked like.
New chat. This is what an SRT file, transcript file.
There you go. That's what we're talking about. No typing.
Make my list of transcripts. Xform my list of transcripts. Alt navigation keys. That's what which looks to that. To above, where it starts off as. Wait, did I say write my function? Write a function that transforms my to above, where it starts off as.
Yeah, that definitely would have taken you a little longer to write by hand.
Totally. Okay, here's what I want to say. Copy the function into the file and write a test at the bottom.
I think there's also an insert at point. Go back up and see if there's a insert
Oh, yeah.
button up there. Is what's to the right of apply?
Boom. Yeah. Ooh.
Okay, so you have that. And then now you can select the whole file and do an inline edit and go add a test for this function.
Like this?
Yeah, now do Control Alt Enter or whatever it was. And now erase all that and put in your news.
Test at bottom. Same form as tests
and then maybe tell it which function to write the test for.
Oh, right.
And you can tell it to write 10 tests if you want, man. Don't try to like be easy on it. This will probably take a little while to generate.
Cancel. I just want to say, write 3 tests.
Yeah, sure.
But will I lose?
No.
2 tests.
There we go. Wonder why that it did that with this.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, look at that. It passed.
All right, so you did it the old-fashioned way, but it was still chopped. But we can clearly see, right? Like the direction is like, it's so obvious and so well laid out. Like everybody who looks at this should be able to be like, okay, so you need to be able to specify context from a variety of different locations, assemble it quickly, get it to generate code and put it back in the right spot. And that loop can become a virtuous cycle. Yeah. So right now you do a lot of it by hand, but as the tools get better, it'll get more and more automated.
I'm loving it. This is really fun, Steve. Okay, I think we are ready for the next step, right? Oh, by the way, can I just pause a moment just to say, don't you love the fact that, like, do you miss lists, Steve? Just to be able to like have this REPL right there. I feel like it's.
Oh, absolutely. I would go mad without writing Emacs Lisp code, and I love Clojure and Common Lisp and Scheme. I love them all. Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, good job, Cody. That would have, I would not.
That one would have taken a little while to write, right? Not forever, but you probably saved a few minutes off it.
Okay.
And then over time that adds up, right? Okay, so what's next? We got to move. We've got the excerpt. We got the snippets now. We got to use your tool.
But the goal was to have captions running by the end of our session. I think we're going to get there.
Yeah, because all you have to do is feed them to the SRT file to the tool now.
So I think I want FFmpeg to extract 5 seconds out of a 10-hour video and put captions in. Is it smart enough to only generate captions for the 5 seconds? Okay, so that means
it said, assuming you use it in conjunction with a tool like AutoSub, or if you provide your own caption file. There it is, SRT, subtitles equals.
Yeah, okay. Extract transcript entries for transcript. So I don't need to do that. I just generate the whole file. So it's like transcript to SRT. Boom. All right. So temp pairing. So we got a transcript.srt. So
I think I finally figured out what you're doing here. The little comment S expression wrapper is for you to basically have almost like a scratch buffer where you can just execute your own code, evaluate it, and it'll give you the answer in the REPL, right?
Yes. I'm so sorry.
It's clever. No, that's really cool. You didn't actually go to the scratch buffer, but this is a really neat solution. All right.
Oh, I think we're there. Okay. Actually, I want to check in my code.
Very wise.
Where is this file? Steve. Boom. Okay. I have transcript SRT file. Generate captions from this file.
You mean like after it shells out or new function? What's the...
No, so I want to modify the FFmpeg to just generate captions in one step.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. One of the top things that I want to get fixed is we need to get better feedback on the steps that are happening on the back end. Resend it.
Modify the FFmpeg command.
See, that's smart. That's the kind of thing a senior engineer would think of, is maybe there was something in the wording that it didn't like, so you're going to make a slight clarification. That's a really good chop technique. And it worked.
Oh.
Or it was a glitch.
This is so amazing.
You like that feature, huh? Inline edits, man. I think it's amazing.
Okay, let's do it. And I will crap my pants. That's disgusting, but
we will definitely edit that part out if you do, but I'll understand why. Error.
Oh, overwrite, not overwriting. FFmpeg command to force overwrite file always. I would love, would it be leaking too much information to actually see what the prompts are? I would just geek out.
No, I think actually you can even see in the prompts and commands tab up above in your chat that you can have a prompt library. You can have your own prompts. I think you can look at that edit code right there. I think that prompt. Oh, there's some way to see it somewhere.
Okay.
They're not actually very fancy though. You'll be disappointed. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the font providers, oh my gosh, that's how they do it.
Got it.
Our competitors, like they're using FFmpeg too. Dude.
All right. Yeah. So use Arial. It should be interesting. You can probably specify the font if you like. Make it a Tarantino font just for fun.
Yeah. So oh my gosh, how long does caption generating subtitles from captioning take? Order of magnitude per second of video. 1 minute video might take 1 to 3 minutes.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's giving you streaming output from the tool.
Isn't it amazing?
It's funny how it like also told us the file name.
I think that's great. And so that doesn't require precision in some sense. I think maybe precision
It's
is
even synced right.
feel that we're doing something cool, but it's like friction. And so I want to have no friction. But as I said, it introduces a lot of new friction, but there's fun friction.
Okay. That's something was a little odd. Did you see that?
No, I started getting into his talk. Sorry.
By the way, this is such a great talk. Hang on.
Which is fuzzy because it's our mind to something that kind of most and approaches what we had in our
What
mind.
is this?
I think that's great. And so
Oh, it's not overriding the old. Tell the LLM. Tell Cody.
Oh my God.
It works, but it's not overriding the old. It's not clearing the old one.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay.
You might want to have that conversation in the chat prompt. Yeah, there you go.
This is so close. But in the captions, it's not
a red herring because it makes us feel that we're doing something cool, but
It's
it's like the first and second lines are not being cleared independently or something.
yeah. Okay, what do we got? It's very close. The issue is the bound.
Yeah, no, it's bound. Yeah.
Geez. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's what I would have come up with. That's actually, before I do that, let me commit it so that we can see.
Yeah. See the diff.
Where is it? Yeah, screw it. That's what. Wow. Wait. Why does it look so different? Keys, args.
Maybe you can tell it to format the FFmpeg command a little more nicely.
There we go.
You should tell it to format the FFmpeg command as constructing it and then with a little comment by each parameter.
Please construct the FFmpeg command so that step by step and document it.
Yeah, there you go.
So if I highlight something here, does it always pull it into the context?
I thought that it did, but then yesterday I found out that in VS Code you have to be explicit about it. So maybe it's automatic in IntelliJ. I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer, but if you select it and it's part of the context, you should be able to see it there. So
Okay.
if you like open your Cody chat box, make it a little taller briefly, and then you should be able to see, if you scroll up, there should be a context drop down with what we sent along. And you can go and look at each of the files and snippets that we included from our index lookups. So we populated a lot of extra context in the context window, but it doesn't show, I don't think it shows your selection necessarily. And that's a little bit annoying. So yeah, I took a feature request.
Interesting. This is actually not pulling the deafen part. It's just giving me the let.
For me, I would always just, you know what, if it's a file small enough, which in your case it is, just select it all and dump it back in and be like, yo, fix this part.
Okay, got it. I'll get used to that. All right, let's start the run.
Yeah, I'm not claiming chop tools are like great right now. They're just good enough to make it work. know?
Oh my gosh, yeah, but it's certainly exothermic, right? It's just wait a minute, hang on, just
Yeah.
like it's a start.
Wow, I really like that a lot better.
Yeah. Holy cow. Okay, we lost the start binding. No problem. No problem. Wait, hang on, just to save some time. Let's do end is 3402. How many seconds should we do? 20 seconds. 3420. Does I think we're in great shape. I just hard code this. We only do 20 seconds.
Yeah, because we just want to see it.
Yeah. Steve, this is more reflections.
So hopefully this fixed the bounding box problem. Does it mention where it's the margin or where did it fix the problem?
I think this is all new.
Magic. Yeah. This is the kind of thing that they're trying to get agents to do, where you just give it a really broad spec, right? Like I have FFmpeg, I have SRT, right? I have these input clips. Please generate the closure code that does this full thing for me. And honestly, you tell me, man, like this was hard for a human to do. Like it was non-obvious. There was a lot of fumbling, there's a lot of restarts and retries. I feel like an agent, it's just not quite there. If a person can't quite do it, then an agent's going to have trouble, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me.
No, for that, I feel like you're right on. It's just,
I think like we'll start accelerating pieces of it
yeah.
to where like you're the agent, but you're super automated, right? That's where I think this goes.
Yeah. In fact, this is interesting.
But we only have 2 minutes left to get it done. So is it done?
I think, I feel like I'm going to say something smart. It's in the concrete. I think the hard part is like in the concretization. The concrete is to go from the plan, like aiming to accelerate the critical thinking needed to make it actually implementable. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this it's like a storybook of like how we concretized the process.
Yeah, or reified it. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Smart guy talk. Yeah, to go from here to like, an agent it's like a blind pinball machine. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I'm real skeptical. I'm not. They'll eventually work, but
Okay, did I screw this up? Did I make it worse? It's only taking longer. Maybe it's because there's more.
it should be done soon.
Yeah.
So this should, in theory, fix that bounding box problem, and then we'll be done.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so good.
It would be fun though to just tell it to change it to a Quentin Tarantino font, just to see if it can do it.
Okay, great.
Those big yellow spaghetti western font that he always uses.
Ooh, okay, here we go.
It's kind of fuzzy because it's our mind to something.
Look at that. It didn't have the black backing before.
And it approaches what we had in our minds.
It's more readable now. So whatever it did was nice. And the bounding box is definitely better.
You know what it is? It's these are changing independently. So I think what we want to do is have one line. Just put one line and
Yeah, but why is it doing it this way? It seems like an odd default. So I would tell the LLM that's what's happening.
okay. Incredible. We're like in basically 2 hours ish. We got
2 hours with 2 hours with a lot of chit chat and learning the tool.
Yeah. Okay. Almost. Wait, okay. I want to see the context. So almost it's rendering 2 lines of captions. Let's make it simpler by showing only 1 line of caption, which aren't updating correctly. Let's make it simpler by showing only 1 line of caption.
In
How
a
bad?
spaghetti western font. We could say Tarantino. I just think Claude will be like, no.
Tarantino font and display caption.
Go Claude. All right.
Hang on. Great. But I use the current style of composing the FFmpeg command.
Well, there's no comments. Just say add comments and then it'll split it again.
Nice.
There you go. No, it's better.
How is Arial a Tarantino font?
I don't know. I just want to see yellow in there somewhere.
Oh,
All right. Now we got to see this.
okay. Why is it so much shorter?
Yeah, because it changed the commenting style.
All right. And sorry, hang on. N plus start 10.
There you go.
I am so happy with, and just to reflect on this, what makes it so cool is that until we talked yesterday, this was like, it was like one of those not this month problem. This is not a good month to embark on this multi-day thing. This is incredible. 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Less. Once this thing is edited down, you'll see that we spent a lot of time just gabbing.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is a 2-hour project that was, you knew it was going to be days to a week or more.
Sweet.
All right. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for bringing me in on pair programming. I have to say, boy, backseat driver pair programming is the best.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to do this again, I will
Love
come up.
to. Although interestingly, this video has now given me all sorts of ideas for one that I had been planning. So now I feel more confident to go do that. So we should do both, more pairing and more solo ones, and just get the word out there because people need to learn this stuff.
Oh my
People
God.
want to learn this stuff.
So good. So good. Tell you what, this has been such a treat. And let's wait. So this will be like America's Test Kitchen. Do you want to hold on while we see the finished product, or do you have to run?
Yeah. Is it almost done? Great.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, of course. We got to see the yellow letters. Hopefully they're yellow.
I don't have a real. Oh, is it done?
It just finished, I think, with an error.
No. But next time. Is yellow font really that expensive to do?
No. Feel free to retry it if it's taking too long. I don't know what's going on here.
Doesn't seem right, does it? Oh, what's this? Arity exception.
It was stuck in a lock.
A lock. We should see like CPU usage. Okay, that was a great call. Wait, is it done?
Which is
Whoa, it is done.
something.
No,
like
it's
that.
not. I don't think so.
Well, that's certainly different from. Oh yeah, because it's still doing 2 lines at a time.
Right?
It's not done. Wonder what it's doing. But still.
Heads. Which
But still, yeah, like this is no different from if you had written it by hand. Screwing with the FFmpeg parameters is like a time-honored tradition. It's like we were trying to make it do a lot of stuff. You'll be able to get it to its final state in no time.
I will email.
I think this has been super educational for me. I've learned a lot about things that Cody could do better. And please do send me the bug reports.
I will. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Perfect. Steve, all right. According to your availability, let's do it again. This is.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Gene. This was a lot of fun. All right, signing off. See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, that was a lot of fun. And we got the namespace cleanup going, and we got a preview of what your captions and excerpts look like. Really excited actually to see what this tool can do on our video in terms of coming up with cool excerpts. Snap pictures, and it'll, because you had mentioned at one point you're gonna add something that looks for laughs.
Oh, because Google Gemini, it's amazing. One is like super cheap, but it can actually do laughter detection, which before you had to spin up your own little model to do. It's like most transcription services don't do laughter detection. And so I bet like when we got something really cool done, one of us laughing. And so that might be a good trigger for something of interest.
So that was fantastic. I'd love to hear what you got out of it, Gene.
Yeah, a whole bunch. I think there's a scholar named Dr. Anders Ericsson. So his field of study is acquired learning. How do learners learn? And you need fast feedback. And in general, you really need help from like a coach, right? Someone who's further up the learning scale than you. And so for us to be able to spend 2.5 hours working on this together on a problem that I really wanted to solve was just a real gift. The fact that you were able to say things like, oh, dude, this is not very chalk. You're doing a lot of typing, and just make me give up some bad habits. Like, how do I get the LLM to actually do more of the work for me? And I guess to everyone out there, if Steve ever makes an offer like that to say, hey, pair on something together, you should say yes. How about if I share with you like what the end product looked like and some reflections I actually wrote up last night?
Love it.
All right, so here we go. Share the screen. The video that I processed first was this amazing talk from Dr. Erik Meijer. He was the brains behind Visual Basic and C# Link. He went to Meta Facebook to work on Hack, the compiled PHP language. And this is like an incredible talk about how LLMs, upended so much of the research he was doing at Meta. And It's just amazing reflections on how he doesn't want to do coding manually anymore. And it's just this beautiful talk. There's one clip here that he's talking about when ChatGPT came out. Basically, these 3 specialized models that they built to code gen and finding and fixing bugs. Basically, GPT 3.5 could do it better. He was amazed that it could actually do a great job writing, even though it's a language not really used widely outside of Facebook. And so there's the other quote that at 22 minutes where he's talking about, you probably can't hear that, but I'm going to play this. He's talking about what does it feel like for the 3 models that he built internally to essentially be replaced by ChatGPT 3.5 overnight. He said it felt like we were digging a tunnel using pickaxes and shovels. And then someone shows up with dynamite and heavy equipment, essentially saying, get out of the way, kid. The professionals are here. It's such an amazing story, right? How these large frontier LLMs are just easily replacing and outclassing these smaller, more specific models. He just talks so beautifully about some people say that these LLMs are going to enfeeble us. He's like, nonsense. Like the most precious thing we have is time. And if a machine can do it for us faster, like we should use it. There's this incredible thing he says here is that we thought that doctors and surgeons and plumbers, they'll be the first to get offshored, outsourced. And he's like, nope, doctors and we are going to be first to be replaced by large scale automation.
Developers and lawyers.
Developers and lawyers. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, this is a great talk, and I loved being able to publish it, right? Just each one of these snippets, there was some piece of wisdom, something really amazing that made me take that screenshot. Oh, and by the way, you know what the coolest part was is he responded last night. He said, Gene, looks amazing. Thanks for doing this. You know what? It's a faster way to grasp the talk, even then as opposed to watching it to a speed. Steve, I can tell you that felt pretty good. So that's what the string of thread of videos looked like, which I thought was just super fun and rewarding to do.
Yeah, because you just did each one of those using your tool.
Yeah, I got it down to, I had one more button to my tool and all of them got generated in individual files. And I actually concatenated them all together. And I actually didn't use that just because it was actually easier to watch one by one.
Cool. Any other reflections?
Yeah, so I actually wrote this up to try to organize my thinking on this. And so here's, I think, what I learned out of it. One is it was amazing having you as my chop coach. And I actually loved using Cody. It was just, there's something about the interaction model that I just really enjoyed. And I think part of it was you teaching me, right? Hey, there's some things that are better done in a chat window. And there's some things, if you can do it in one turn, that you want to bring up in that one dialog box. 2, it was super helpful for you to be able to say, hey, Gene, this is not very chop. And to me, that was code for stop typing. Instead, think about like how you can get the LLM to do more of the heavy lifting for you. I think what I also really appreciated is, man, LLMs are really great at writing tests. And yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about this later. You actually need those tests because I think there's a category of problems that LLMs are just not going to get right the first time. And you're not going to learn about it not working by reading the code. You're going to get them through tests. And I think a critical piece of that is that you have to be able to run those tests really quickly, right? In Clojure. How if I just show you? What was really great is when you have this REPL open, you're just loading the file, just automatically runs the tests. So it's not running a separate process in the command line window. It's just like right there. And it was really awesome, right? It felt just so good to be able to just work in the chat window up here, right? Say, just feed the tests in there, say, fix it, and try to coach it to actually fix the tests. But just actually having the tests like right next to the code was just great.
Because you could copy the test error messages directly in and speed the loop up that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a really common chop idiom, right, is what we did. And you were quite the natural at it, right? I coached you a little bit and I learned a lot just watching you do it. There's definitely a lot of stuff that's not intuitive enough yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you used a lot of techniques that were really good ones, like double checking its results and a large set of things that I think people could learn from in this video.
In fact, you know what? I think that'd be so useful actually enumerating what are the techniques that are available to you, right? What are the moves that you have? I think that would just be a super great, that'd be super great to write up. Yeah. And so the other, I mentioned, this felt like a problem. Doing something with the FFmpeg felt like a not this month type of problem, right? I could do it, but man, it's going to take a lot of time, right? It's going to take, I would say, probably 2 days. And to be able to do it within 2 hours is just awesome, right? It just felt like not this month, maybe next month it's within reach. That was just an exhilarating feeling. And it got me thinking that there's two types of problems. I can divide up the problems into two categories. It's still a puzzle to me. It reminds me of the how to draw an owl joke, right? There's some things where the LLM is going to get right in one shot. For example, make the FFmpeg man to put captions in and extract at a certain time. Amazing. But there's these other ones that were like, man, it required a lot more coaching and cajoling the LLM to solve in a specific way. And I felt like it was having to draw 4 to 5 intermediate steps so you could actually get it to draw the owl correctly. And I feel like there's this intuition that I'm still trying to gain about what LLMs can and can't do well. So like in computer science, we're all taught that regular expressions can't count, right? You need some sort of state machine or something, right? So no matter how hard you try, but with a regular expression, it's never going to be able to count. I feel like there's some kind of intuition that at least I need to gain in terms of, okay, when can you expect it to do it in one shot? Or when do you require this totally different way of solving the problem? In fact, I wrote a little about that here. I have 2 examples of the first case where it just does it in one shot. FFmpeg man was one. Another one that just comes to mind was in February, where I'm analyzing YouTube screenshots and there's no numbers to extract, right? And so I wrote a prompt something like, here's a bitmap file, march down the left edge and look for like a red colored pixel. And that's the YouTube video progress bar. And then march until you find a non-red pixel and compute the progress percentage complete. I hadn't done anything like this in probably 25, 30 years. When I did it, it was Microsoft C++ and the MSC library. ChatGPT did it. I had something running in 20 minutes. So that was amazing. That would have been another 2-day problem. To get something running in 20 minutes, that sort of changes your life in terms of your perspective of like how things can be done. The FFmpeg command, same way for me. I actually reread an FFmpeg book over the weekend, but after this, there's no way I could have gotten that done. And I think that would have taken an hours, and we did that in five minutes.
Yeah.
Seems like, as you said, it reified the whole owl. Amazing. But there's this other category of problems that LLM seems to have like more difficulty with. And I wrote about that here. In the video, I think there's 2 or 3 of these type of problems where it took a stab at it and it didn't work, right? The test failed. And one of them was generating in the SRT transcript. So that's where the captions, each one has a text, start, and duration. And we had this problem where the captions were overlapping, right? In fact, we had multiple captions being displayed at the same time. And it took, Steve, it was terrible. It took 15 minutes to fix up that code. And it was interesting, like, if going back to my memory, at first, like, the LLM seemed to think it was like an off by 1 problem, like it's a less than or less than equal problem. So no, that's not the issue. And I remember saying, all right, here, compute an end value, and maybe that will help you do the computations more explicitly and correctly. And I feel like that's this other category of problem where the job of the human is to give it more intermediate steps to concretize or reify that owl into being. And I now think about it, so I'm wondering if we had asked the LLM to think through step by step, if it would have done a better job, or maybe that's inside the prompt already. But yeah, that was super interesting, right? It was like, it took 15 minutes to eventually get to pass all the tests, and still amazing.
That's part of the CHOP experience, right? Is every once in a while, it really gets stuck in a local minimum somewhere. And you've got to jump it out of there somehow. Maybe using another LLM is something we could have tried, using a different model. We just pestered it with hints, like you said, better. But yeah, that's part of how CHOP is today. But it's no different from regular programming. You get stuck on stuff, you bash your head against it, you get past it. It's a lot faster with CHOP and kind of more fun too, don't you think?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Every time that we got through one of those, it was like, Steve, that took 15 minutes, but like that was so much faster than doing it by hand. And I think the reflection for me is that there's these 2 categories of problems. Like, one is there's problems where the LLM is going to get in one shot. One of them is this one here, Ricky Robinette. His daughter wrote a chatbot in 45 minutes. First time coding in cursor, just incredible. Right? So it drew the owl right the first time, just like the FFmpeg, just like the bitmap analysis. And by the way, he's a VP of DevRel at Cloudflare. I met him at the conference. That was a small world. On the one hand, you have problems like that. And then on the other hand, you have these other problems, right? Where it takes a bunch more turns and you're trying to cajole the LLM to fix it. And I think it's because the second class of problems are more situated. The data models have already been chosen. There's a ton of constraints and correctness criteria that the LLM has to understand. And I think the more of those you have, the more likely it's going to take a couple turns to get right. And what I learned from the conversation as this kind of language, I think of it as like, all right, you're giving it concrete hints to help it reify the thing. And I use that word. We use that word a lot in the Clojure community. Can you describe why you called it reify?
Yeah, sure. It's more or less synonymous with concretize and this stuff. It's just easier to say, but you have something that's fairly abstract. And these two types of problems that you're differentiating to me are the razor that separates what agents can do, which is about generations, versus these harder ones that they're very abstract and you have to turn that into something concrete. Right. Which means creating like a real plan. Right? So you're realizing a plan out of it, which is a plan. It's effectively you're building a graph, and each node in the graph is like the biggest sub problem that you can think of that the LLM could solve for you. And you've got to stitch all those together and get the inputs and outputs and everything. This is what agents are trying to do, but it's really hard. And Chop is basically doing it manually, and you can just get better and better at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I feel like to get good at this, I think one has to be able to recognize how we can that first domain of problems where it's going to do a great job in one shot versus this other type of problem where it requires this other skill set that can be learned. Yeah, Steve, I got to tell you, thank you so much. This was such a great experience. I learned a ton. And I think the biggest thing that Erik Meijer was talking about is like, it is not fun to write code by hand anymore. This is so much more fun, right? Just like I don't want to write commit messages by hand, right? I don't want to write code by hand. This is a far better way to do things.
I think so. Yeah. This is exciting times. Thank you, Gene, for inviting me to doing this pairing session and for coming up with such a great problem to solve. Tons of fun. Let's do this again soon.
And we are going to do something soon. So you wrote this great post called The Death of the Junior Developer. And as we were talking before prepping for that pairing call, just on this last topic, we're like, maybe the junior developer is like, what does it mean to be a junior developer who's going to die versus a senior developer? But what is junior versus senior? And I think
what is developer, right? What is developer now? Maybe we take the programmer part out because you're not really doing the programming as much anymore. Everyone is, right? But developer is the more supervisory type. There's a lot of nuance there. We're going to go through this at the chat, and we've got a lot of people signed up for it already. So I think it's going to be a full house.
Oh, it's going to be great. So I feel like these are concepts that are going to be important over the next in the years to come. Yeah, Steve, it was so fun. So again, thank you.
All right, Gene. All right, we'll talk soon.
Soon.